Hi and welcome to my channel. This is Adina. On this channel we are helping you create profitable digital product businesses from 0 to 10k a month in 90 days or less. I'm Adina, like I said, and I'm a digital entrepreneur, and I've built several 6 and 7 figure digital businesses using a content driven business model, specifically written content. Today we're talking about the mind altering power of self challenge. I am a challenge, I would say, aficionado. Like I've done so many challenges and I've made a lot of money just doing challenges, 30-day and 90-day challenges majority of the time. Okay, so today I'm talking about the mind-altering power of self-challenge. I'm currently doing a 500 post challenge, and today is day 24, I believe. Okay, so let's get into this. Before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. Also, you can check out some of the links I have in the description as well. And let's go. You know, self-challenge rewrites your brain. It rewires your brain, okay? I want to talk to you about how one wild 30-day experiment rewired my brain, exploded my growth, and helped me earn more doing what I love, which is writing, creating. You know, when I tell people I once posted 150 articles in 30 days on Medium, their eyes usually widen and they're like, they just don't believe me. You know, I've just confessed to running an ultra marathon in flip-flops. They look at me like I'm just crazy, basically. But they don't realize it's that wild, slightly insane challenge that changed everything for me. And it changed me. You know, I'd been writing for quite a few years. I'd written for newspapers. I'd done a lot of freelance writing. I'd done writing on different platforms as well, but I hadn't really tried Medium. And when I did try Medium, I wasn't really very consistent. And so I decided to make a conscious decision to completely lock in on Medium. And, you know, when I started writing on Medium, I was doing it in such a way where I was doubting every headline, rewriting every paragraph, and waiting for the perfect idea to show up like some divine lightning strike. You know, I'm sure you know what that feels like. But perfection never, it never showed up. Things were never perfect. So there was always something that I wanted to change. Procrastination was the thing that I was struggling with at that time, because I was finding every excuse not to post. I had over 50 articles in the drafts that were not published. So then one morning, fueled by lots of caffeine and this, I would say, feeling of existential frustration, I set a challenge to post every single day for 1 month. But I didn't know how many articles I was actually going to post in the beginning. I just said that I was going to post something every single day. I ended up deciding that I was going to do something a bit wild, and I was going to do 150 articles in that month. And that basically meant that I'd have to post 3 articles a day. And to be honest, at that time, there were people that were posting that type of, that frequency. There was one lady on there, I can't remember her name. She no longer writes on Medium anymore, and she was posting morning, afternoon, and evening. And there was another lady called Shannon who was posting 4 articles a day because that was her job. She was using Medium as a job. But I decided that I was going to just stick to the 3 articles a day, and I was going to go all in. You know, when you say 150 articles, it sounds like so much because you just think about that amount, but it was 3 articles. And what I was doing 1 long form and 2 shorter form articles. So 1 long form was 1,000 words, and the short form articles were 500 words each. So I was essentially writing 2,000 words a day, which wasn't that bad. By the end of the challenge, and during the challenge, my traffic exploded, my followers tripled, and I landed features, partnerships, affiliate sales, the whole digital dream. Basically, I started to really see results in that time. You know, self-challenge doesn't just grow your metrics, it rewires your mind. You know, you don't need motivation, you need momentum. Motivation is actually fickle. It's like trying to catch fog. But momentum, that's different. Once you start moving, it's easier to keep moving. That 30-day challenge rewired how I viewed creativity. I stopped treating writing like a precious ritual and started treating it like breathing, daily, essential, natural. So it became part of my routine. It was a system. It was a way of life, a lifestyle. So I might go to a coffee shop and sit down and write. I might go to a restaurant, have some lunch, open my laptop after I've had lunch, have a coffee while once I've finished having lunch, and sit down and write my article. And when I didn't write my article, it was like, or when I didn't write my articles, it felt like something was missing. Another thing I found to be helpful with Medium is that they have a scheduling feature, and so that allowed me to schedule out posts. And so there'll be times when I would do 6 posts in a day, and I'll schedule out for the next day. And so it meant that the next day I didn't have to write for that day, but I could write for the following days, or I could use that time to engage and to do other tasks as well. I want to talk about the science behind the shift. There's a reason your brain feels different after a big self-challenge, and that's neuroplasticity. The brain's ability to rewire itself thrives on consistency and novelty. So when you commit to a demanding goal, especially one that pushes your creative or cognitive limits, your brain builds new neural pathways to support that growth. So in simpler terms, your brain learns that you're serious. It actually believes you because you're doing the thing. So you might have said that you're going to do something and you do it, and so your brain actually believes you. So it rewards you with sharper focus, faster idea generation, and resilience in the face of creative resistance or creative friction. It's the mental equivalent of muscle memory. You no longer think about doing the thing, you just do it. You don't have to think about it too much, it becomes a habit. And when you're not doing it, it doesn't feel right. I watched this video of Michael Jackson, I think it was in the 1970s. I think it was around the 1970s, before Thriller came out, or before Off the Wall came out. And he was talking about touring with his brothers, and he said that on nights when they're not doing their shows, he still dances because it's a habit. It's something that his body needs. His body remembers that he's supposed to be moving, so he can't just sit still. That's what happens with writing for me. I have to do it pretty much on a daily basis, but it doesn't always have to be an article. But I find myself writing all the time because I've become so accustomed to it and used to it that when I don't do it, it feels like something is missing. So off the back of this idea of self-challenge, right now we're in October, heading to November. The year is almost over. A lot of people are doing 90-day lock-in challenges and stuff like this. I created a challenge called the 30-day Tsunami Content Challenge, a system designed for creators who are ready to flood the internet with content and finally be seen. This isn't about burnout, it's about breakthrough. It's about training your brain to create, share, and grow with consistency, confidence, and clarity. And because you're here, reading this, like listening to this on YouTube, I'm going to give you a discount. It's going to be a 50% discount, and you're going to use the code Let's Make Money at the checkout. And you might just find that what starts as a content challenge becomes a mindset transformation. When I look back at the 30-day stretch that I did during the Medium, the era when everything got really good for me on Medium, it wasn't just a hustle phase, it was an awakening. It showed me what's happened when you stop negotiating with your potential, when you start living inside it. So if you've been stuck waiting for the perfect time, this is it. Not next month, not when you feel ready. Start the challenge, start the flood, and watch how fast your old limits wash away. I said not next month, but this particular challenge does start on November the 1st for the Tsunami Content Challenge. I, like I said, do have a discount code for you guys so that you can go ahead and sign up and get some discount for that. Also, I have a 90-day accelerator program. So if you feel like you're ready to go ahead and do a 90-day stint and start to see 10K months by the end of the 90 days, then sign up for the 90-day accelerator. If you're someone that needs to get your feet wet, then sign up for the Tsunami Content Challenge, which starts on November the 1st. So you want to jump in now because it starts on November the 1st. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen and to watch and to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And I'll see you in my next one.